Good morning, welcome to a cold and frosty January morning in Scotland. As you can see, the windshield is totally frozen solid, but anyway, I'm well wrapped up and I'm cosy in the car. So what I'm doing here, I'm installing a Parrot Mki9000 Bluetooth and streaming audio kit for the standard issue Volkswagen head unit here. So I've thought of a number of ways to install the audio cables, and that's why I thought I'd create this video, just to give you an idea of the options. The audio cable, which is this thing here, has a iPod, iPhone connector, a line in, and a USB as well. So you can install a wee flash stick or something like that to play your audio files. So the first idea was to run the cable out here where the manual sits up here, and I had the cable. I thought it was quite a nice secure place for the iPod, but the problem is if anybody's in the passenger seat, it's quite difficult to get in and out there. Also, if you close the glove box on the cable, it's quite a neat fit and it actually snags the cable. I didn't want to damage the cable. So my solution was to use the little tray here. I know some Golfs have an air conditioning unit here or a speaker or something. You don't always have this tray. But my idea was to run the cable out here so I could leave my iPod, my phone, whatever connected to the cable. To drill the hole here, I used a small pilot wood drill. I think it was about a 4 or 5 mil, just to centre the spot where I wanted drilled. Make sure you just have it above the rubber tray here, which pops out, just so the grommet doesn't interfere with the rubber tray. And then for the actual 20mm hole, I used a 20mm flat wood drill, which not all forums recommended, but as you can see here, it did a pretty clean job. That's quite a good quality one, so maybe that's half the battle. If you use a good quality sharp drill, that may help. If we look at the underside where the cable comes through, actually before we go to the underside, if I lift this up, you will see there's a little triangle in there. So, you know, line the cable up so it can go through the triangle, which in turn comes through the underside. And what I did, I chased it down there's some wiring here for the hazard light, so I chased it down there, a couple of cable ties to make sure it doesn't interfere with the vents here. I didn't want to get snagged there. And I chased it down the side here rather than directly down the back of the head unit. So again, I was worried the cable might get snagged. It's probably difficult to see, but the cable just chases down the side and it pops out just to the side of the head unit. There's a little bit of room there as well for the cable to hide. Coming out, you can see a wiring mess. So I used the ISO connector, which connects to the Parrot wiring loom and converts it so it can connect directly to the Volkswagen head unit. The wiring in my unit was a little bit funny. I had a permanent live, but I didn't have an ignition live. Although I think there is a live that turns off after 2 hours, but I didn't like the idea of that. So it was difficult to test. So I didn't want to sit in the car for 2 hours. If you're sitting in the car, I think it doesn't go off. So what I used is a permanent live. It comes down to the switching for the air conditioning. So you pull this out with the torque screws, use an electrical tester to work out what the permanent live is, and just connect into that. One other thing, I put it all back together and I didn't have any power. It's because probably was my ISO kit maybe wasn't the best quality, but the power connector jumped out, so I just put a cable tie around that. And a couple of times as well, I've also seen the Parrot, the main wiring looms popped off, so I put a wee cable tie around there just to, because once you put this back together, you really don't want to take it back out, just to plug a connector back in. Okay, so the microphone now. I chased this around the back using a wiring rod. It goes underneath here, in the back of the old pocket here, and I put it all back together, but you can flip this open to get into the fuse, and then to chase it up the pillar, there's actually, if you just pop this out, there's a little torque screw and this pops out. There's a number of push fit connectors, so just kind of rip it out, be reasonably gentle. from here under the sun visor, pop the light out from this side using a little screwdriver with a little kind of spring clip. As you know, I broke mine, but yeah, well, you learn from these, so well, hopefully you guys learn from this. So pop this out, and then I mounted my microphone here. Again, this pops out from the back, if I remember correctly, although other forums will tell you. There's a couple of torques and this whole thing drops out. I then used my push rod. I just pushed the wires through here. Actually, I'm now lying. If I remember, I dropped the headlining here. I used my push rod through here, and just by luck it jumped out underneath here. I then taped the end of the microphone wire and pulled it straight through. Chased it down this side, keeping away from the airbag, and through the fuse box. And the other way, so contrary to what I said initially, I chased the wire from the centre console back to the stereo. So obviously it's difficult to do the other way because you've got this chunky microphone, so you need to start here. You can maybe also see as well, don't be a complete arse like me and notch the wrong side. You can see here I use a small drill, probably about a 4mm drill, drill the hole and then just use a Stanley knife just to nick it out. And as you can see, it's actually quite neat there now, although as you see from my hack, which I'm quite annoyed about, but I don't know if I'll pay Volkswagen the money for a new bit of plastic. So I've obviously got to install it all back together. I'll maybe add a little bit of the video once you see it all complete. But really happy with the Parrot Mki9000. It's a good bit of kit for the money, £100 I think I paid. So yeah, really happy. So as you can see, once it goes back to a pretty clean solution. Just a word, that grommet actually comes with the cable, and Parrot actually recommends you using a 20mm drill and either put it in the dash, but I prefer to put it here because you can either buy a new tray if you go to sell your Golf, or because it's 20mm, I think that's a standard electrical grommet size, so you could pop that and just put a nice little rubber grommet which would conceal the hole. So it's a pretty clean solution, keeps the cable close to hand, stops it getting snagged, and I'm looking forward to testing it. So thank you for your attention, and I hope this video was of some interest and some use if you're about to embark on a similar job on a Golf. This is actually a Golf Mark V, it's a 2007 model. So good luck and goodbye. One thing I should have added was how to remove the hedge unit. So I could have made a video of doing it step by step, but let me just talk you through it. First of all, lift the rubber tray. Sometimes a wee screwdriver just to get under the lip to lift it. Remove the two screws here. This pops out. Just watch, there's two clips at the back will probably spring out, so make sure you put these somewhere safe and then clip them back in before you put everything back together. So as I say, take this tray out. This piece here down to here lifts out, then you put it to the side. This fascia panel has two screws, one there, unscrew them, and then it's just spring clips, just gently prise it off. That'll come off, just be gentle but persuasive. After that, you've got one screw there, one screw there, one screw there, four screws for the head unit, and then after that it just lifts out. And obviously just do the reverse to put it back together. Haven't had any problems taking it out. I've had it out a few times just to work out the best way to do it, and it's always going back together pretty cleanly and securely. So as you can see, that's the final result there, which is really clean. Just pop this back in. As you can see, it's just actually a nice anti-slip for your iPod or whatever, for your antique iPod as I have. And then we can just plug the cable in. So, or you could maybe mount some kind of iPhone, iPod mount there, connect the cable in. Again, you can play around with the length of the cable. I made it just long enough so I could play with it in my lap. If you don't want too much cable, you'll be tripping over it. And the good thing is it coils up quite nicely. Can maybe do a better job. So there you go. And one other thing, another useful tool is a torque screwdriver. I've got one that you can change the ends and separate torque set. I think that's it's a T20. So either buy a dedicated screwdriver if you've got a wee kit. It's a useful tool. So that's me, off for a test drive. Thank you for your attention once again, and if you take on this job, hopefully this video makes it a little bit easier. Okay, cheerio.